Thompson Center presents You Call the Shots. Join our panel of experts, Bill Miller, Mark Kayser, and Mr. Whitetail Larry Weishun, as we invite you to call the shots.
And I'm fired up to be anywhere in whitetail country during the rut, but if I had to pick one spot, Kansas is one of my favorites. And this is Kansas right in the good pre-rut, right before the does come into heat. So these bucks are on the hunt. And of course, rattling, calling, all those aggressive tactics, they work perfect. I was hoping they were going to work really perfect on this hunt, and I'm trying my hardest, as you can see, rattling. Middle of the day, you can see I'm a big believer in midday hunting and staying in that stand as long as you can. In fact, I stay in the stand all the time during the pre-rut and rut. And this buck come in, he looks close, he looks like he's in bow range, but he's just right on the edge. And I never advocate being a long shooter. I mean, I practice out to 60, 70 yards regularly. And as you can see, he's out there at 60, 70 yards. But got a lot of brush. You look at the underbrush there that deer's going through. There's a lot of timber. So I'm working him. I'm trying to get him a little closer. And what's going on? There's just enough of a breeze and him walking. He can't hear these subtle grunts that I'm tossing out to him. And you probably can't hear me cussing at this point.
It's funny sometimes when you're vocalizing the deer, when you're grunting at them or whatever, sometimes they can pick up the slightest hint of a noise, and other times you can be bawling at them and they just ignore it completely.
I think that's a big part of it. I think they hear you, but they just don't pay attention to you.
I do too. I think there's a lot of...
I'm convinced they can hear you, but you haven't caught him at that right moment yet. He's still got something else on his mind that he wants to check out. But it looks like you've got him turned around and he's coming your way now.
You know, to this day, I don't even think he was listening. He was just snooping. And you're right, he might have heard me and ignored me, and I've had that happen. But he just kept snooping and snooping, and I'd made up my mind. This was a shooter. Nice 5x5. It's not an old deer, but with bow and arrow for me, I was ready to make the shot if he was going to let me.
Well, let's see, a bow, 54 yards with a bow in my hand. You know what? I'd probably have better luck throwing the bow at him and hitting him with the bow than I would shooting an arrow at him. So 54 yards with me and a bow, no way.
The same for me, Larry. Put a bow in my hands at 54 yards and every deer in the world is perfectly safe. But with today's equipment, the bows, the arrows, the trajectories they're getting, the sighting equipment, and the optics. I mean, we know with a rangefinder to the yard exactly where this deer is. And if you're practiced enough and you know the arch and archery, even that stuff in the way isn't a problem. And I know Mark shoots a lot to get ready for hunts and situations just like this. So when that deer brings his right leg closer or forward, he's wide open for a shot if he thinks he can make it.
This deer's busy, as you can see, and he just never gives me a good standing shot. And as you can see right there, he's quartering to me a lot, and I'm just a little nervous on deer shooting a quartering shot. 50 yards, if there's some wind and distraction where the deer doesn't hear the bow go off, I got no problem with that. But man, this deer he had an agenda. He had things going on.
He is obviously, like I say, he's got some place in mind he's wanting to go. You know, maybe he's just checking out the area, but he seems like he just keeps skirting right around the edge of it.
And he does. It just never stops enough to shoot. And on a 50-yard shot, I don't have a problem snap shooting a 15, 20-yard shot, but on a 50 or 60-yard shot, I need to settle and get set. And this deer just never gives me that opportunity.